This is Bob Anderson, and it is July 19th, 2023. Some of you are probably going, Bob, are you still alive? Oh, yeah, I'm still alive. The market's not, but I am. I mean, it's this is where your patience gets tested, folks. I mean, it's like, that's why all the big traders are on vacation and things like that. Matter of fact, I got a buddy of mine who's a stock trader, small caps, literally the instruments, meaning he buys actual stock. Anyways, he's a 30-year trader, owned his own brokerage firm for like 18 years, something like that. Anyways, he was telling me yesterday, I think it was, that this is the time to just sit on your hands. Even if you're sim trading, you could get bad habits. But he was talking about how some of his main companies that he trades, I guess that's what you want to call it, that their volume even this week is down 80% from normal. 80%. And if any of you know anything, volume is what moves these markets around. And it's like today there was going to be a beautiful red line trade set up in the RTY, a crossover pullback. It just didn't have the energy to pull back to the red line. It's like, and then the market broke right down. I mean, it would have been beautiful if it had actually made it to the red line. But I mean, there's just not the push and the pull and the follow through. So you got to be real selective. And then even when you get into a trade, you got to be real patient. I'll show you the one trade I took today. But in general, what I have been doing since last video to now is I have been testing the indicator live that I'm having programmed, and I have been debugging it and whatnot, and functionality wise, trying to ascertain what works, what doesn't work, things like that. And I'll give you a perfect example. Today, I didn't even have it on my charts because last week I pretty much felt like I had all the bugs out of the individual trades. The 1 minute gold line, the 5 minute gold line, the 5 minute red line. And so, but the one thing I had not addressed then was, okay, this is too complicated for me to manage because I've got 3 charts in the CL and I got 3 charts in the RTY. And so the last thing I wanted to do, which actually worked out for the most part, but was to take all 3 indicators and blend them into one, which Bob graciously did that. He understood. He figured out that it's too complicated, to trade all these things on different charts. Totally agreed. So, but in the process of putting them together, he then sent it to me yesterday, which was Monday, and I started trading it, and it wasn't doing the trade counts right because in the process of transferring the code and copying and everything, it's hard to explain. But basically, like one of the examples is like the 5 minute gold line was really counting off the 1 minute gold line, and so some of these things have to be debugged. Because as I was sitting here watching it yesterday, I'm going, I don't understand why it didn't take that trade. Oh my God, why did it take that trade? I was just like, holy cow. Why is it telling me there's a trade here? Why is it telling me there's a trade there? Blah, blah, blah. And it was because the counter, one of the issues is the counters were wrong, because we took 3 total indicators and combined them into one. Now, the cool part is the way Bob did it, you'll be able to identify if you got the indicator that you only want it to tell you about trades in the 5 minute red line, for example, if that's all you want to focus on. So it won't distract you with the 1 minute gold line, or it won't distract you with the 5 minute gold line. Or you can turn on the 5 minute gold line and the 5 minute red line, and you don't want to deal with the 1 minute gold line. Anyways, it will have that ability. But what I wanted to talk about, since I don't have much to discuss, because I don't have a blended version to show you one chart yet. I do, but it doesn't work. Is I want to talk about some of the main tweaks that I'm dealing with in doing this, okay? And this is part of why it takes longer to do than you might think. You remember, we're dealing with the 1 minute gold line, the 5 minute gold line, and the 5 minute red line, okay? So one of the things that I wanted this thing to do is to say, hey, here's a 5 minute gold line trade that Bob Anderson, would take. Not there's a 5 minute gold line because it touched. You know what I mean? That's any clown can write that type of an indicator. Any clown can write that type of an indicator. I'm not talking, even I can write that. That's not what I'm talking about. So, like, for example, gap for trade to count. Remember, I've always talked about when you got the thrust and then the pullback, you want space to your left. That candle that pulls back wants to see space to the left. That space tells you you've got the slingshot being pulled back, and then when you enter it, shoots it forward. Am I being dramatic enough for you? Anyways, so one of the things is I have a counter that's counting the space between, say it's the 5 minute gold line, space between the gold line and the candles to the left. Are they greater than X? Okay, now X is what is going to be determined through optimization. But anyways, you have to have a certain gap. Otherwise, all you have is potentially price just rolling up the gold line. Well, that's not a touch for a count. Keep in mind, we got counts 1, 2, 3. This gap, as long as this space here is over our requirement from back testing, then when this touches, that'll be touch 1. You get what I'm saying? So, keep in mind, you can have candles just bing, 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 bing on that gold line. Those aren't touches. They can all consolidate together to be one touch, and then a push out, and then a pull back. And as long as the gap in here is greater than what we back test for, then this can be touch 2. See what I'm saying? So that's one of the elements that's going into this coding. And this will all be done behind the scenes for you. So if it starts telling you, hey, here's a trade, it's because it passed that test, as an example. Second thing it's doing is candle size to void entries. So I talked about this a little bit the last time, but we've all seen those trades where candle comes back to the gold line, but the top of that candle, if you're going to take the break, is 15, 20 ticks away. And so I personally, again, are these trades that I would take? No. If the next candle, like in this case, right here, if the next candle, so this is the space between here and here, okay? The top of that candle. If it's over a certain amount, this is a setup. I want the indicator to tell you this is a setup, but it's not a valid trade yet, okay? What does yet mean? Well, yet means, maybe the next candle opens and closes, and it is valid now because it's much closer to that gold line if you took the break, okay? That would potentially make it valid. What would make it invalid? Well, if this candle is way up here and then the next one opens and it breaks, and it does break the top of that one, well, you no longer you no longer have a trade. So that again is something that is coded into this to kind of avoid you doing, FOMO trades, fear of missing out, of chasing a trade. If you enter a trade 15, 20 ticks from the gold line and your stop is at 10, because we don't want to, we have a risk reward that we're trying to manage here, you're really in no man's land. So you could get pinched there. The other thing I'm working on is trade management, which is like, okay, once you're in the trade and the instrument is RTY. Should the RTY 1 minute gold line trades be 30 tick trades or 20 tick trades? Should the 5 minute gold line trades be 20 tick trades, 30 tick trade, that kind of stuff? Well, at what point do you have your stop of 10 go to break even? Or and I'm even working on trying to get it to do exactly what I do, which is follow the bottom of the candle to the left when the candle to the right breaks the candle to the left. Minus a tick, okay? Because you want to stay below it until you get to break even. So I'm working on that. That may not be ready yet, but anyways, for release. But then candle sequence, making sure that if the 1 minute gold line is going to take a trade, that it's in sequence with the 5 minute gold line and the 1 minute gold line. That it's not taking the trade inside one of those for a long. It needs to be outside those for a long. It needs to be outside those for a short. So trade sequence, all that's being taken into account. Look back period for the pivot high, pivot low. As I talk about with the 5 minute gold line, predominantly with the 5 minute gold line, but also with the 1 minute gold line. You need to have a pivot high that you're coming off of, and you need to have that pivot high needs to be, here's your pivot high that you're reading your pullback off of, and that pivot high needs to be able to look to the left a certain sequence. Now, I talk about using 60 minutes. So that's what I, usually use is 60 minutes. Again, that may be something I optimize. I don't really know, but I really do know that I need to have the indicator only telling you that this is a potential setup because it already did the look back for you. Okay, then, because remember, it's not about the quantity of trades, it's about the quality of trades. Then on the 5 minute gold line and the 1 minute gold line, pivot breaks on the pullback. Okay, so I have 1 minute. So not to make this too complicated, but I have 1 minute pivots being created behind the scenes. It makes the charts too messy if they're on the chart. But I have 1 minute pivots being created behind the scenes, and then I have my 5 minute pivots that you guys are used to seeing. But my 1 minute pivots being created behind the scenes, they can't be violated on a pullback of a 1 minute gold line if you're going to take a trade. So it's reading that. Okay, these are all things that this is going to be reading itself for you to help identify these trades more accurately, I guess. But more the way I try to do it. I'm not perfect either. Okay, so don't ever think that. But obviously you don't. But anyways, so all these were working by themselves last week. I think all of this for all three indicators, they were working. Now they're just being blended together, and they got to be debugged because in the blending, some of it got crisscrossed. And then this will be ready for me to test hopefully tomorrow again. And then once I'm done testing it, then I'm going to work on optimizing it. But our goal is to have this available in August, which I don't know. It's the 19th of July. I don't know. I mean, in the month of August, yes, probably yes. But again, let me put this in perspective for everybody. Don't feel like you're missing out on something, okay? The market's not giving you rewards right now anyways. You're not missing out. Even if this thing's working perfectly, you're not missing out because this thing's a beast. I mean, I told you guys last week, I would be trading the 5-minute red line, and that's pretty much, that's the $250 trade I took today, 5-minute red line. 5-minute red line, crossover, pullback, RTY, bada bing, bada boom, done. Anyways, and then on my 10 account challenge, those I have that just sitting still. Those are sitting at like $700 and some dollars, or I'm down a little bit from my last report, but that was from me running the strategy, trying to run the strategy, and it wasn't. Anyways, it wasn't doing. I needed to debug it first. But so anyways, I think I'm at $750 an account or something like that. So they're just sitting there waiting for me to reactivate them into the strategy. But I want to see the strategy working. I want to see, that kind of stuff. So like those 10 accounts are just sitting still for now. Of course, I got to renew them on the 29th. So I want to pass before then. I need $2,200. Oh my God, that's right. These are $50,000 accounts. All right. So the other thing I want to do is that in 2 days, I have received a stack of emails. I don't know what was the timing of all these, but I want to share a couple of them with you. They're not in any specific order. But they're not in any specific. Because of me, they're in no order. But anyways, I wanted to read these to you. I'm going to leave names out. But it says, this one says, "Greetings, I am writing to introduce myself. I'm a 79-year-old retired mortgage broker. Prior to that career, I was the vice president of RE/MAX International. Between these two careers, I developed and constructed resort properties in Summit County, Colorado." By the way, I lived in Colorado for 8 years. Summit County, Colorado is God's country. I'm telling you, that is absolutely the most beautiful place in the world. Anyways, the purpose of this email is to express my sincere gratitude for your futures trading strategies. I traded my first futures contract in July 1996. Woo! It was the original S&P contract that moved $500 per 1.0 price movement. $500. Read that again. Oh, okay. He actually says this. Read that again and imagine watching your computer monitor, recognizing a trade entry, picking up the telephone, waiting for the trading desk to answer, giving the order over the phone, confirming the trade was filled, and you have no idea what fear existed trading back then. I mean, I know about these days. You guys, most of you guys don't. It was not uncommon to be up or down $1,000 or $2,000 before you even got off the phone. I traded that for 3 years and consider myself fortunate that I survived the experience pretty much undamaged and unrewarded financially. By the time I quit trading, I had the largest known collection of indicators in history. Many were quite expensive. None of them did more than promise success. I am retired and was getting bored with my daily routine, so I gave up. So I took up trading again. That reminds me of me. I outsold my business last year, so I started trading again. That's a true story on my part. This time with NinjaTrader, micro contracts, and finally Apex. And then came along Bob. That'd be me, Bob. I have attached 3 PDFs, which he did. He attached 3 PDFs. The first is my results before Bob. The second is after Bob, but before your strategy clicked in my head. The third is my results since I decided not to try and improve on Bob's strategy and just go with it. Before Bob was a loss of $6,526.51 from June 1st to July 7th. After Bob shows profit of $790 from July 7th to July 18th. Okay. The after Bob, after it clicked on the summary, was really $4,490.25 from July 10th to July 18th. Get that? July 10th to July 18th. So here's somebody here listening to what I'm talking about, and he made $4,490 even when the market's dead. These trades include Apex and cash trades. So this gentleman trades cash too, which I have an AMPS Futures account too. Words cannot express my gratitude for your YouTube videos. I can now see a way to supplement my retirement income with successful trading. I have a lot of charities that I support, and in a very small way. This will allow to increase my contributions to those causes. God, I need to read these things more often so I don't get all emotional. I believe God brought you into my life for that purpose. All right, I got to stop. All right, let's go to the next one. I wanted to start off by saying that I have traded for 5 years and have lost over $30,000 in bad trades through gurus using very expensive tools that do not really help you get a decent trade. They would claim to be huge names in the trading industry and sell you their best indicator, then lead you down a rabbit hole to more and more losses. Margin call after margin call, however, because I am so tenacious about learning this craft, I was able to find you. I had so many indicators on my screen it looked like I worked for NASA. So I opened the new tab, entitled it Bob's tab, and it has only your 5 items needed, and off I went. I made my first trade and it hit 5 points and shut it off. The next day I hit 5 points twice and shut it off. Then I decided to use my Apex accounts. I have 5 $50,000 accounts, and my dream would be to fund all 20 at $400 a day. I am a self-employed realtor and lender going into a possible 3 to 4 year recession. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same industry, my friend, and I need to find a second source of income to feed my family. After 30 years in the industry, it was getting very scary. I see the potential of trading your system by dumbing down the minutia. I really hope to give you an update in 10 days of news that I have funded my first 5 accounts. Good luck and God bless you, and thanks for the great coaching. Bob, I have been following you since the beginning. For some reason, I have struggled to pass evaluations. This is due in part to not having the discipline and patience, etc. Over the past 3 months, however, my trading perspective changed. My emotions are completely removed now. Following your guidance and your strategy, I have, over the past 3 weeks, passed 7 evaluation accounts, and the past week, 4 of the accounts have already exceeded the $2,600 mark to allow for payouts. Thank you for sharing. I, just for fun, I had 2 people in that are former mortgage people, or one currently is, I think. I wanted to show this. This is one of a whole box of these that I have in my attic. This is real. I mean, this is heavy. This was the 2003 award. I was the #1 originator for Countrywide Home Loans, the largest Fannie Mae lender in the United States. I was the #1. I helped 496 families buy their first home in the year of 2003. And I got this award, and I also got personal dinner with the CEO, Angelo Mazzoli. I have a box of these because I got that award every year I worked there. But that one in particular was for helping 496 families buy their first home in 2003. I've always been helping people. So anyways, that's it for my video. I guess I was going to show you my one RTY trade. Hold on here. Let me see if I can find it. By the way, here's some red lines right here. Look at that. Push down, boom, wham. Broke through, forget it. But anyways, where was today? Where was today? Let me see today. I want to see the crossover. There it is. I highlighted it. There it is. So it got consolidated. It pushed through, pushed back up, and I took this break right here. Bam, for 20 ticks. And that was it. That was my one trade I took today. Anyways, I'm working on the indicators as I've promised, and hopefully I get there soon. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.